just like that, Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA, the team owners, the Players Association, in the split of an instance, all of it can change. In a split instance, all of it can change. If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA, the Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear overnight.
The WNBA figured they could let teams rough up Caitlin Clark every night without consequence, and fans would just sit back and cheer like it's a junior high pep rally. Well, plot twist. After Clark took a hit that looked more like an NHL body check than a basketball foul, fans didn't just get angry, they went nuclear. Social media is in flames, and now some Fever supporters are straight up boycotting the league like the refs just snatched their playoff tickets. The WNBA wanted a more physical game. Congratulations, now you've got a full-blown fan revolt on your hands. Who would have guessed that the road to equality meant turning your biggest star into a punching bag? Buckle up. This saga is just getting started.
It was just announced that Caitlin Clark will be out a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad injury. Could this injury have been prevented? Can the Indiana Fever win without her? And what does this mean for the WNBA?
The WNBA really thought this season was going to be smooth sailing. How cute. Everything was falling into place. Ratings were skyrocketing, Caitlin Clark jerseys were flying off shelves, and every Indiana Fever game felt like a sold-out Taylor Swift tour stop. But then, boom, the universe flipped the script. Clark's team hit the panic button, and now she's riding the bench. Fans, they're acting like gravity just stopped working. And the WNBA, behind the scenes, it's pure chaos, even though they're out front pretending everything's just peachy. Spoiler alert, it's not.
Get in the back. We know Caitlin Clark was lost yesterday to an injury for at least 2 weeks. Now, the thing about it is they're going to reevaluate in 2 weeks. And of course, man, these teams, I told you earlier, these WNBA franchises that moved games like the Chicago Sky to the, United Arena, you're screwed. You're done. You're cooked. Nobody is going to show up to this thing. Chicago Sky can't sell out their own 9,000 something seat arena like it is. They couldn't when they were kind of decent.
2 weeks. That's how long Caitlin Clark is out with a strained quad. Not a torn ligament, not a fracture. Just enough of an injury to throw the entire league into chaos. It's like her thigh put in a request for vacation days. And the Fever's franchise star is now sidelined, watching from the bench, while the WNBA scrambles to keep the spotlight from slipping away. And the fan reactions? Oh yeah, totally calm. If by calm you mean full-on public hysteria.
Oh my God, guys, breaking news. Caitlin Clark is hurt. I didn't believe it when I saw it myself. She's injured. She has a quad injury, a left quad injury. It's a quadriceps strain, and the team announced today, about 2 hours ago, she's going to be out 2 weeks at the minimum. 2 weeks. Without Caitlin Clark, this team is finished.
Caitlin Clark's fan base, easily the most intense, merch-rocking, tweet-firing squad since the days of MJ Stans, is already staging emotional exits like it's a scripted drama. A simple injury has turned into a full-on rebellion. I'm not watching again until Clark's back. This league isn't worth it without her. Boycott the WNBA. They're acting like the league kicked their grandma and ran off with their dog. Meanwhile, the rest of the players are out here like, hey, we're still playing, you know? And the internet's just like, not now, honey, we're grieving.
It's the latter. It could mean that Caitlin Clark could potentially miss the rest of the season. This 2-week timetable that people are running with, that's just when Caitlin Clark is going to be reevaluated. As of now, she will be reevaluated on June 9th. That does not mean, and it's highly unlikely, that June 9th or shortly thereafter is when Caitlin Clark is cleared to return.
In Indiana, yeah, they're getting a taste of life without their superstar centerpiece. The Caitlin Clark show is temporarily off the air, and now it's up to Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell to keep the whole franchise from crumbling. Mitchell's out here playing like she's got an extra pair of lungs. Boston, she's battling for rebounds like she's chasing ghosts. And head coach Christy Sides is rewriting game plans like she's stuck in a survival movie. But here's the twist. The Fever might actually stay afloat. Why? Because their next few opponents have been about as intimidating as day-old soup. No shade, Chicago Sky. Okay, maybe a little.
There's no way every team's going to come at them and try to take them out, especially without Caitlin. They're going to lose some games here, and that's going to set them back. It's really hard to believe this, but yeah, she's out. There's no other details. When did this happen? Could have happened in this game. We're not sure. Most likely at a practice yesterday. She's out for 2 weeks, man.
Let's be honest, the real drama in the WNBA right now isn't coming from the box scores, buzzer beaters, or even the games themselves. It's watching the league try to keep the party going when the life of that party, Caitlin Clark, just got benched. Before the injury, Clark wasn't just in the MVP conversation. She was the conversation. Sure, some critics tried to downplay her impact like she was just another flashy rookie. That's like calling Beyonce decent at karaoke. Please. Caitlin wasn't just putting up stats. She was dragging the entire Fever franchise back from the dead like a one-woman revival tour. She had the ratings, the sold-out crowds, the celebrity shout-outs, fans screaming from the rafters, even nosebleed seats filled with homemade glitter glue jerseys. Clark didn't just bring energy, she rewired the entire WNBA system. We're talking historic viewership, arenas packed for the first time in years, and merch flying off shelves faster than Taylor Swift tickets. And now, the Queen's temporarily off the board, and suddenly we're supposed to believe the MVP race is wide open, like the league wasn't revolving around her 5 minutes ago.
Breaking WNBA news. Caitlin Clark is out for a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad strain, and our next question is, what does this mean for the Fever? So Cece is going to be missing the second Sky rematch since playing them the first weekend of the season, which is definitely a bummer, but on the bright side, this injury doesn't seem too bad. It's just some quad tightness. But fear not, Fever fans. We talked to Caitlin earlier this month, and she doesn't seem too worried about the depth of this roster.
So I think our depth is probably what I would worry about the most. You know, if somebody doesn't have it one night, you're just going to the next person on the bench and the next person, and you know, we're going to have to be able to find a way to use that to the best of our ability.
Caitlin seems like she has faith in her team, but we will see how this squad performs on the court without their number one player.
Back in Indiana, the Fever are quietly piecing things together, and surprisingly, it might just make them stronger. With Caitlin Clark sidelined, the team doesn't have her doing literally everything, so now the rest of the squad is stepping up. And when Clark comes back, rested, recharged, and absolutely fed up with the noise, get ready. Picture her storming back onto the floor, pulling up from the logo, and silencing every critic who counted her out after 2 weeks of quad rehab. That's not just a comeback, that's a statement. Here's the twist. If the Fever can stay afloat during this stretch, maybe even steal a couple of gritty wins, they're gonna be dangerous. Because once you've got a healthy Clark, a confident Aaliyah Boston, and a fired up Kelsey Mitchell all clicking at once, you're looking at a team that could crash the playoff party and shake up the whole bracket. So yeah, Caitlin Clark's out for now. But the WNBA? It's buzzing louder than ever. You've got MVP debates, rising stars making waves, fan bases at war, wild conspiracy theories, and a comeback tour just waiting to drop. This league isn't slowing down, it's just getting started.
Just as I started talking about Caitlin Clark being in the MVP race, it is announced that she suffered a left quad injury and she is going to miss at least 2 weeks. And this is such a bummer because the Fever were off to a great start this season. Caitlin Clark was playing out of her mind. She had already broken some records in the first 3 games, and now she's going to be sidelined for 2 weeks. We'll see how the team will hold up without her. Obviously, she's the primary ball handler, playmaker, and shot maker. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they can sustain and just hold even at 500 or better, and she can get back and keep them in playoff contention.
To all the fans refusing to watch until their basketball savior returns, here's your wake-up call. Without Caitlin Clark, tuning into the WNBA feels like showing up to the concert after the headliners already left the stage. Yeah, the league's loaded with talent, no doubt, but without her, the spark's missing, the energy's flat, and the drama lukewarm at best. So go ahead, fire off those rage tweets minutes from your Caitlin Clark beanbag chair, because right now, the WNBA isn't evolving, it's hanging on. And when she finally steps back on that court, it won't just be a basketball game, it'll be the event fans have been starving for. We're stuck in this strange moment where the games look cleaner, the plays are crisper, but no one's watching. No viral collisions, no wild flagrant debates. Without Clark getting knocked around every 5 minutes, the controversy has cooled off. And that's exactly what's making the league nervous. Because like it or not, controversy sells. Let's be real. As much as the WNBA pushes pure basketball, the numbers skyrocketed when Caitlin took a shot to the jaw, not when someone executed a perfect backdoor cut. Nobody was blowing up headlines when Arike Ogunbowale dropped 30, but when Clark got hit and someone screamed assault on Twitter, boom, trending worldwide. The league was riding a wave of chaos-fueled PR. Now that the chaos is on the bench, they're staring at the ratings like it's a final exam they didn't study for. And don't even get us started on the merch teams. Somewhere in a warehouse, pallets of Caitlin Clark jerseys are collecting dust like, you forgot about us. Sales nosedived the second she limped off the floor. Right now, accountants are sweating harder than someone who just bet their savings on Beanie Babies in 2024. A 12-game Clark absence? That's not just a break, that's the WNBA's version of an eclipse. Rare, brief, and a nightmare for anyone trying to fill seats.
Turns out she's human after all, Dan. She's going to be out for at least a couple of weeks, it appears.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about Caitlin Clark? Remember last year, she played in the Final Four. Right after that, she went immediately to the WNBA. Draft came, season started, and, didn't miss a beat. And all of a sudden, she got a little rest and comes back, gets a little banged up.
And now, fans are doing what fans do best, throwing full-blown fits like kids who got broccoli in their Happy Meal instead of fries. Comment sections are on fire with hot takes like she should have gone overseas, because clearly the logical response to an injury is to catch a flight and start hooping in Hungary for spare change. Yeah, nothing says faster recovery like dunking on 19-year-old prospects in front of 200 fans for 5,000 euros a week. Brilliant plan, but let's break down this she should have played in Europe narrative for a second. Sure, the pay is often better when your team owner is a billionaire with no salary cap and a yacht named after his favorite power forward. And yes, overseas fans worship their basketball stars like pop icons. But Clark didn't sign up for comfort. She signed up to conquer, and domination doesn't come easy when half the league plays defense like it's WrestleMania, and the other half pretends they don't refresh her stats the minute the game ends. And since we're on the topic of obsession, can we pour one out for the Caitlin Clark haters? They were just starting to get good at it. They had the tweets drafted, the memes locked in, the she's overrated rants polished to perfection, and now nothing, just digital crickets. It's tough to hate watch when your main target's not even on the court. These folks are like sitcom villains who lost their lead actress, confused, aimless, and stuck scrolling through takes with no one left to aim them at.
Big news just released by the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark has suffered a quad injury, and she is going to be out for a minimum of 2 weeks. Really bad news for people going to games at home hoping to see Caitlin.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese is seizing every moment in the spotlight. She's flexing hard, dropping savage trash talk, and turning post-game interviews into full-on TED Talks about doubters, haters, and media bias. And here's the real kicker. It's working. The drama is juicy. Every time Reese steps out in a designer fit and grabs 15 rebounds, she's solidifying her image, fearless, unshaken, and ready to own the court. Clark may have been the one to draw in the crowds, but Reese is the one keeping the fire burning while the Queen takes a breather. Remember, this was supposed to be the matchup. The game of the week, the ultimate rematch, the main event, Fever versus Clark versus Reese. The ratings goldmine everyone was salivating over, but now it's like showing up to WrestleMania and hearing The Rock called in sick. The show goes on, sure, but it just doesn't have the same spark. And don't think the league's marketing team didn't silently sob during that conference call when they had to scrap all those Clash of the Titans promos. Now it's more like two rising squads trying not to stumble over each other's missed layups. But here's the bigger picture. Caitlin Clark's injury might actually be the best thing to happen to the WNBA. Stick with me. It's forcing the league to prove it's not a one-star show. It's pushing fans to discover players they've overlooked, to recognize true talent that isn't trending on TikTok, and to understand that Clark is just the start of a movement, not the entire story.
Caitlin Clark might be a demigorgon. I was watching the WNBA, there was nothing on the TV, so I said, why do I just support women? I'm a proud feminist anyways. It was one of the worst things I've ever watched. All I saw was straight bricks. But Caitlin Clark might be a demigorgon. That girl can hoop. I will.
We're seeing in real time the Angel Reese psychological meltdown as she's actually being forced to grasp the fact that the thing that she is best at in her life, which is basketball, Caitlin Clark is exponentially better at than she is.
Suddenly, clips of Kalani Copper lighting up the scoreboard for the Mercury are everywhere. People are remembering that Brianna Stewart is still an unstoppable force. Even steady performers like Dearica Hamby are finally getting the recognition they deserve. Consistent, reliable play that rarely goes viral. The league is now putting a spotlight on depth, real talent, and distinct team identities. Imagine that. And when Clark returns, and make no mistake, she will come back, the fever surrounding the Fever will reach an entirely new level. This break, it's just adding fuel to the fire. Her comeback won't be just another game. It'll be a spectacle, a comeback story, a declaration. Every player who doubted her while she was out better pray she doesn't come back raining down revenge threes like a storm. The real losers, not the Fever, not Clark, and not even the league. It's the fans who checked out the moment she hit the injury report. They missed witnessing Collier's rise, Reese's evolution unfolding live, and the league finally pushed to grow beyond just one star's spotlight. And that kind of missed moment, you can't just rewind it on ESPN+. The WNBA just powered through a week without Caitlin Clark, and not only survived, but evolved. And the real test is still coming, because when Clark steps back on the court, there will be no excuses, no rookie grace period, no getting used to pro ball, just 40 minutes of pure, relentless effort to make up for lost time. Torch in hand, net burning, and every critic silenced who thought her injury meant game over.